Welcome, friend, and in this episode, we are learning to reprogram our mind to release attachment to the present moment. This is a truly elevated mindset and one which will guarantee you presence and gratitude within the now. It's a very liberating way to exist, and you'll see yourself just not getting triggered really at all throughout your day-to-day stuff. So this is a perspective that is tethered to the present moment. In the two previous videos, I broke down the different perspectives of seeing the future and getting riddled with anxiety, stress, and worry, and then also perceiving the past in a negative lighting and suffering from depression and resentment and grief and shame and all that stuff. So now we've moved on to the present moment. It is the hardest, I believe, because it's live. We are driving somewhere, somebody cuts us off, and we get enraged. In that moment, while managing the situation, we have to retrain our mind to release our attachment to life being other than what it is and center in on presence and even come to gratitude if we can through the initial training steps. So it's very kind of complex, layered, and it's a very masterful thing to grasp because life is happening in the moment. We can't step away like we can with the past and give ourselves some time to process. And we don't even need any time with the future. It just doesn't exist. So we're not even there yet. But in the present moment, it's happening. It's unraveling. Somebody's angry with us. Somebody is threatening us. Something's going wrong. And so we need to act. But we also need to train ourselves to think a very particular way and center in on peace. As discussed in the previous videos, there are always emotions that are tethered to the three different perspectives, past, present, and future. With the present, what you're going to experience is anger, frustration, impatience, annoyance, and defensiveness. Before I forget, my name's JhN, and I'm a mindset and spiritual mentor or coach. And what I do is I help you elevate your mindset to know a life of peace and abundance and beauty. Doing that will free you. It'll liberate you. You become this powerhouse of presence. You're able to manifest and do all that stuff if you want, or just really latch on to the present moment and ride that wave of beauty. If you're experiencing a very specific kind of block or obstacle or challenge you need some help on, be sure to check out my website. I work one-on-one with my clients, and I also have a really banging membership with the courses and all these live articles and live coaching for you to really experience a tremendous transformation in your mindset. Back to the perspective and our mindset latched onto the present moment. When we are experiencing one of those emotions of anger, frustration, annoyance, defensiveness, impatience, we know to plug and play these steps, but we have to basically establish something very, very, very important before getting into those steps. Attachment. Basically, we have expectation for life to be other than what it is. And it isn't the event or the situation or the person that is giving us the anger, the impatience, annoyance, defensiveness, and so forth. It is our attachment to life being other than what life is in the here and now. That is what gives us the grievance. So if we actually release the attachment, then life is just going to unfold as it is. People are going to say things and treat us certain ways, and there are going to be life events and circumstances that just unfold as they are. They're actually neutral events. We place the positivity or negativity or neutrality on that event. We can do that by training our mind, and so we're never triggered by an event. And when something nice happens, we can accept that into our experience and experience a positive emotion of joy and pleasure and delight and excitement and happiness. I have an awesome video on attachment and how horrible of an investment it is and why. I prove it mathematically pretty much. So be sure to check that out. I have that in the comment section, and you will have a very masterful grasp on attachment and why it's such a bad investment. So with that elevated perspective of why we are no longer going to allow ourselves to have attachment to life being other than what it is, now we need to plug and play the steps. So we're sitting there and we're driving our car and somebody cuts us off and we just squeeze the steering wheel, we shake it, we tremble, we scream, we want to come up and race next to them and mean mug them and flick them off. And we're experiencing all this negative gauntlet of emotion there, that anger and rage and annoyance and impatience. Step one is to observe. As soon as you find yourself experiencing that, you're already in step one. But Basically, you want to observe yourself and all the thoughts associated with those negative emotions that are kind of occurring and streaming through your consciousness as if you're removed from the situation, like your soul or spirit is sucked out of your body and you're watching yourself observe your emotions and all those thoughts. Step 2, reward. Like a dog being retrained on where it should pee and where it should not. We are training our mind. You're not allowed to pee in my temple with that negativity, but here's what you're allowed to think. And you're going to reward yourself by saying, I see that we've been triggered by this event and we're feeling really angry. I'm grateful for this opportunity to center in on peace and presence. You're telling the mind what it cannot think, and now you're giving it what it can, so it can't just make something up itself. You're training the mind to come into a neutral or positive space. Step 3, our salvation is in the present moment. I've said this in the other videos. If we can tether ourselves to presence, we won't really experience any negative emotion unless we're literally being threatened and our life is at stake and we have to go through fight or flight or freeze. That doesn't really happen on a very day-to-day basis, but we experience all these negative emotions all of the time. It is because of our attachment. We can release attachment by centering in on the now. We do that through 10 deep breaths using our diaphragm, breathing through our nostrils. Then we're going to ask ourselves, what are 10 things I see right now? What are 3 things that I am physically touching or making contact with? What are 2 things I hear? And what is 1 thing I smell? While we're doing that, we're gonna put our shoulders back, our chest out, our chin up, and we're gonna pick a point across where we're sitting from and stare at it without blinking. We are bombarding our mind, our thinking mind, with task here and saying, you need to analyze and gather all this data. It cannot think about how enraged it is that that guy cut us off when it's doing that instead. And we are centering in on the present moment through breath and through our senses. Step 4, detect. We have to see what emotion we're experiencing and then find what triggered that. So you're gonna say, why am I upset? Well, I'm super angry because that jerk cut me off. Okay, well, we know that anger and frustration and impatience and annoyance and defensiveness is tethered to the present moment from Joe's video, so we are upset in the now, which means we have attachment. You may ask yourself this question, am I expecting life to be other than what it is? It can be multiple choice. A, yes. B, yes. C, yes. D, yes. If you are upset in the present moment, it's because you are suffering from attachment. You want life to be other than what life is giving you in the now. And from watching that other video, we know how bad of an investment having attachment is, and we know that we're not allowed to do it anymore. We have to detach. We have to release our expectations and center in on what presence it is and be grateful for that. Establish ourselves through that healthy mindset and come to terms with the present moment. Step 5 is you're affirming here. You're saying, I am releasing my attachment to life being other than what it is, and I am residing in the peace and presence of the now. Step 6, take a nice deep breath here and think of 3 things you are grateful for in this very moment. You have a car, you're driving somewhere probably important, you have money because you bought gas, bam, bam, bam. It doesn't have to be extreme there, but 3 things that drum up an authentic sense of gratitude and allow that emotion to just wash over you and through you to help elevate yourself out of that negative toxic space of the attachment into one of positivity. Step 7 here, just say thank you. Thank you for the peace and presence that I am now experiencing. I've released my attachment and I am anchored into the now. Those are the steps. You're gonna plug and play those anytime you experience one of the associated emotions, but some things in life are gonna be a little bit more challenging to monitor or to get through than others. You get cut off while you're driving somewhere, you're not gonna hold on to that too long, but if you get fired for the wrong reasons for something somebody else did, your mind is gonna be super angry and defensive and annoyed and impatient for a long time. So you're really gonna have to lean into that process and relieve yourself of the associated anger and emotions because you're just doing yourself a disservice. It's literally stealing away the present moment. It's like we have blinders on. We can't see the things around us. We're not experiencing the experiences that we should from the place of presence. People talk to us, we're not hearing them because we're just enraged and we're just entombed in impatience and everything. So you're missing out on life. And this could be the very last day of your existence. You never know when you're gonna go. Whoa, curveball, Joe, where did you come in with this? It's true though. This could be your very last day on this world. Do you want to spend it being so upset about something you cannot control because you had expectations for it to be other than what it is? No. You'd want to release that, come to presence, and be grateful for the blessings and the beauty around you, your relationships, the material things, the experiences, all the stuff and achievements that you've accomplished instead. And that's what anger and impatience and annoyance does. It steals our life away from us. Thank you guys for watching. I've got great stuff coming up in the next weeks. Be sure to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions, and check out my website if you want to work with me personally. Thank you for watching. I am grateful for you.